Welcome back to the Joy Newsroom. My name is James Eshen. Let's settle for the details now. And fresh concerns are emerging within Ghana's health sector over the growing exodus of professionals. Biomedical engineers from Kolebu, the University of Ghana Medical Center, and other facilities say the trend is worrying, especially as Grenada's Prime Minister seeks to recruit Ghanaian nurses. Speaking to Joy News during a health ministry workshop supported by Korean Foundation for International Healthcare, the engineers urge government to tackle the causes of the migration and find ways to turn the global demand for Ghanaian expertise into a source of revenue.
There are better opportunities out there, that is a fact. There are better opportunities out there. As a young practitioner as myself, there's also the appeal for me to go out and learn. That's true. That's a fact. That's there. But I think if we can find a way to, as you said, bridge the divide and strengthen our systems, there might not be the need for young people as myself to want to move out to the city. But until that happens, I think we'll still continue seeing what we're seeing right now.
We all have a common goal: healthcare, not only for Ghana, but for everyone. So if we have, taken a leap in the healthcare, there's nothing wrong. I think there's nothing wrong training them or sending our people to them with a fee, probably.
Now, the health workers are also urging government to step up efforts to retool medical facilities to meet international standards in order to retain professionals. Biomedical engineer Elik Plim Atefo of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital made these remarks during a working visit by a resident from the Korea Foundation for International Healthcare.
If you look at the trajectory of medical device innovation in Ghana, we've been sorely lacking. If you are comparing it with our mates in the outside world, looking at the medical equipment in Ghana, you see that there's a divide. So it's very important for us to catch up. I mean, technology is advancing, medicine is advancing. There are new ways that diseases are being treated. So if we don't catch up to all these medical advances that are coming up, we are sorely lacking.
Now, this afternoon, newly formed political party, United Party, has taken on former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo after she filed a fresh legal action to halt the vetting and appointment of Justice Bafo Boni as Ghana's next Chief Justice. The former CJ wants the High Court to quash all proceedings of Justice Gabriel Scott Praman Committee that investigated her and to declare the presidential warrant removing her from office unlawful and void. But the Deputy General Secretary of the United Party, Nana Yaw Sapon, says she should bow out gracefully, insisting that judiciary cannot be held back by one individual.
Power given you should be used right. There are procedures. On the other hand, something, you are a lawyer. You understand this. You are not a thief. I am the thief. I steal. I sell to you, I dash you, you take it. What are you? Yes, she was not responsible to have gone into the coffers to take the money. But can that issue be lined as an act of corruption or an abuse of office? Do you think in any case that the accountant, whosoever was responsible, would have turned down any instruction by the Chief Justice? Not at all. Not in our jurisdiction. You understand me? But the interesting aspect of it is that this is the first time such a petition has traveled the full hall. You understand? And so we are seeing what we are seeing because we are experiencing it for the first time. In any subsequent event, I do not think that we would have the luxury of our executive time to be discussing it because we would have seen it before. And so I understand the as Antifobe said, the dummy that is being played. But one thing she should understand is that I agree with Ansansari. It is not a royal stool where she would have to sit on it forever. What has happened has happened. Yes, she would have to go. She has gone. She has to go in peace. And I agree also with Ansansari when he said that you can do this in another form, in another way. And so that probably the implementers of whatever recommendation that was on the report would agree and probably make you retire peacefully and for lack of a better expression, diligently, and so that you would go home with whatever that you would have to go home with. And then we can move. The judicial service cannot come to a halt because the Chief Justice is taking us to court. No. If I were the president by now, there would be a new Chief Justice in place.
Also commenting, economic advisor to the Vice President, Sharif Mahmood Khalid, believes the former CJ is overstretching the process with what he calls a series of unnecessary legal suits.
Former Chief Justice, right, is overplaying her hand in this whole exercise. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a ridiculous bucket list for a Chief Justice or a former Chief Justice worth her salt to take to court. Why do I say this? For every public office or an independent public office which she headed, there's something called the dignity and sanctity of the office, which the holder must respect. And I want to believe that she respects that. She's been a judge before, and we know how judges could be upset when a ridiculous bucket list or when lawyers come before them and they are viewed as trolling, hoping that something sticks. It's exactly what she's doing. Will she not be mad at any lawyer who tries to do what she is doing today? So that questions the sort of Chief Justice she was and how she viewed things from a legal lens. That said, this decision taking, the president did not do it arbitrarily, right? It went through a process to the Council of State. He was binded by the decision of the Council of State to be taken. It was not a green letter that emanated from the Jubilee House or the Flagstaff House firing the Chief Justice. Due process was followed, with the president taking the decision. I mean, there are people who even think that the president is very lenient on this case. That said, I commend him for having exhausted every avenue. Whilst this was going, she exhausted not only internal judicial landscape in trying to save herself, she went all the way internationally. How many people have the luxury to do this? Or how many had the luxury 8 years ago to do this within the confines of any government? So you look at it all and then you wonder where she's going with all this. That said, no one is even going after her. Whilst the process was ongoing, she enjoyed all her privileges to the extent that she still went with close protection to hold a press conference at the Palms, formerly known as the Holiday Inn. That tells how accommodating the government is. But that doesn't tell her to be outplaying her hand in the way she's doing for, we should respect the institutions we once had. For me, if her review, Nana talked about constitutional issues here. If we feel that an article, it's a bit wobbly and we want to fix it, that doesn't negate the decision that was taken in reference to her going away. We can look at that. If she feels that, okay, you've taken me off, but I want to go home with my entitlement. Fair enough. There's something we can look at. But this ridiculous bucket list, I'm really wondering where she's headed with all of this.
However, constitutional rights and policy strategy advisor Oliver Bakavomawo says while it remains uncertain whether the court can legally halt the vetting, he hopes the CJ receives a fair and transparent hearing.
I'm not only going to look at the executive's posture and say that, well, the executive has already moved on with a new candidate, and for which reason we must ensure that that status quo remains. So she has to get a fair hearing, and I'm hoping that the judiciary is able to afford her that. Administratively, there are questions, for instance, about whether significant findings of fact that were made by the command committee can themselves be disturbed by another body, or whether or not that process cannot be challenged in some regard. That's something that will be interesting to find out. I am not certain, in terms of my understanding of how we have done these things previously, whether or not going forward with the appointment of a new person and the process of vetting the person can be stopped. I say this because, first of all, the judiciary must continue to function. And if she is found to have been wrongly removed, there's nothing stopping us from bringing her back in terms of how our law functions. So the mere fact that somebody has been vetted or whatever is done, if a former Chief Justice has not been rightly removed, there's nothing which would say, well, there's a fait accompli, and for which reason we can't bring her back. So that's my thinking. And so I don't particularly understand that relief, but I still believe that some of the questions she's raising, I do hope that, when proved, or if proved, that I'll be interested to see what the court ultimately decides on this. Not only in terms of what is before the High Court, but also some of the issues before the Supreme Court that we are aware of.
Away from that, nearly 600,000 first-year students are reporting to senior high schools across the country today as the 2025-2026 academic year officially begins, marking another major phase in Ghana's free SHS journey. From Accra to Tamale, scenes of excitement and anxiety have filled campuses and lorry stations as parents, many traveling long distances, accompany their awards to begin this new chapter. My colleague Fatau Bayaga visited bus terminals and some schools and joins us via Zoom. Bayaga, so nearly 600,000 students crisscrossing the country in one day is huge. How busy were the transport terminals?
The various transport terminals in Accra, particularly around Circle, were awash with students and their parents as they head to their respective senior high schools across the country, given the fact that today marks their official reopening day. And many of them express excitement as they prepare to begin their SHS journey for the first time. In fact, they told me that it was really exciting that they are going to high school for the first time, and they're just hoping that all the right things are done in order to help them stay and study well in their high schools.
Well, you also visited some schools in Accra. Tell us how the feeling was like for the students on their first day.
Yeah, so our first stop was at the Accra Academy, but we were told that students there are expected to start reporting on Monday. However, at the Accra High School, several students had already begun reporting. The excitement was literally written on their faces as they, head or as they report to school. And we also engage some of the parents who were there, and some of them were also excited to see the awards in school.
All right, Fatau Bayaga happens to be giving us some update with respect to the new SHS, student going to school. Now, let me take you to Cape Coast, where most of the country's biggest schools are. Adobia Asari has been to some of them. Adobia, what can you report from Cape Coast?
So I was in Wesley Girls some minutes ago, and I'm just coming from there, and the place is busy. There's a lot of going outs and coming ins by parents and teachers, as today marks the first day of the Now, it's interesting because some of here were there as early as 6 a.m. Others, and the process is quite smooth. However, because there are many, the queues are still long, and it's bringing some sort of frustration to parents. But then everything is going on while I interacted with parents, and they were suggesting to me that the date won't be 1. The date given will be about 3, so that it will, reduce the queues a bit. But the students are largely excited that they get to come to school and make their parents proud. So that's what I can report from Cape Coast.
All right, so that's my colleague Adubia there from Cape Coast giving us also some update with respect to this new, the Form 1 student going to school for the very first time. Now, let's move straight to Manso Senior High, where my colleague Abigail is. Abigail, what can you report from Manso Senior High School?
Right, so this morning we were in Manso Senior High School where throngs of students are reporting to senior high school for the first time. Speaking to some parents, they said since they came, some of them came around 11, others came around 8 o'clock. Since they came, they've been guided appropriately to the various stations that they are supposed to go to. Some of the students have already been admitted into their dormitories, while others are still in queues, to finish their admission process to get to their dormitories. And I did speak to some of the students, and aside from the normal nerves they are feeling, they said they are very excited to see what the next journey has for them. And they are looking forward to utilize the school's facilities to ensure that at the end of the 3-year academic journey, they can complete with good grades. But so far, the process has been smooth and no one has complained about anything negative.
All right, Abigail Isel, and that's my colleague Abigail Isel from the Manso Senior High School, also giving us update with respect to the new Form 1s. Going to school. Today, still on education, the Ministry of Education has issued a statement welcoming first-year student reporting to senior high schools nationwide. In a statement, the ministry congratulated the new student and urged them to approach their studies with discipline and dedication. It also commended parents for their cooperation during the placement process, which has now officially closed. Authorities say all efforts are being made to ensure a smooth start to the academic year. Now, let's do some other stories. And the paramount chief of Manso in Kwanta, Nana B. Kwesi-Appiah II, has appealed to residents of the Manso area to resort to dialogue rather than violence in addressing their concerns with Asanko Gold Ghana. This appeal follows a recent violent clash between the youth of Impatium and soldiers guarding the mine, which resulted in the death of a local assembly member and extensive damage to properties belonging to the mine's subcontractors. Speaking at the commissioning of a newly constructed multi-purpose community center at Manso in Kran, the chief condemned the recurring hostilities and urged residents to prioritize peace and cooperation to foster development. More in this report.
The Manso traditional area has in recent years witnessed the youth revolting against gold mining company Asanko Gold Ghana Limited over possession of portions of the mine's concession. They claimed the mine's existence in the area has not yielded the needed developmental benefits and job opportunities. Speaking at the commissioning of the Manso Multi-Purpose Community Center, the paramount chief of Manso Kwanta, Nana B. Kwesi-Appiah II, was distraught over the spate of the routes. He urged the residents to cease the attacks and resort to dialogue with the traditional council to settle the tensions.
Enti mesre nana wono mpanyimfo amosoma kasa kire mu nkofo sade bi wo mo ye mo ntiase dia mo fa metu ye dim enye dede eje se me ma anye. If
there is any misunderstanding, bring forth your concerns. Do not resort to protest. Because of this, Manso is gaining negative reputation. I didn't like what happened at Tontokrom and Impatuum. The works here are few, and beseech the traditional leaders to speak with the youth that if they have any worries, they should come to us. The newly commissioned multi-purpose community center worth over 2.3 million cedis is a modern, fully furnished facility constructed to serve as a central hub for knowledge sharing, cultural exchange, community gatherings, training and development projects. The chief pushed for more critical events for communal developments that would promote peace and stability in the area. We are grateful to Asanko Mine for this initiative. We hope that a lot more could come to help improve development here in Manso. Executive Vice President and Managing Director of Asanko Gold Ghana Limited, Dr. Charles Amwam, highlighted plans to ensure peaceful coexistence between the mine and the community folks.
One of our main aims is always to improve on engagement, to use dialogue, to resolve any misunderstanding. Once we are in the community, we definitely will have to encounter with people. We are not running the operation in a vacuum. So always there will be a misunderstanding, but our vision and our approach always to use dialogue to resolve any misunderstanding. We will endeavor to carry the community along, always. Let them appreciate what we stand for, as we also appreciate what they stand for, so that together we will deliver alongside our vision.
For joining us, my name is
Now, as we recently marked World Food Day, you might be surprised to learn that Ghana's flavors are not just to delight locals, they're taking the world by storm. From the comforting warmth of banku and groundnut soup in Suriname to smoky streets in Peru with sizzling kebab and a refreshing deep red sobolo in Mexico, our cuisine is crossing oceans, carrying culture, history, and pride with every bite. Diplomats and high commissioners to Ghana revealed these fascinating connections at the Afro Gastro Festival by the Ministry of Tourism. There is more in the following report.
The kitchen is reaching far beyond its borders, from banku and groundnut soup in Suriname in the northern part of South America to kebab in Peru and even sobolo in Mexico. Our flavors are quietly leaving their mark around the world. The Suriname ambassador Fidelia Grad-Gallon reviewed this during the maiden edition of the Afro Gastro Festival, hosted by the Ministry of Tourism. She noted that several dishes enjoyed daily in Ghana, including groundnut soup, banku, and impotompoto, are also staples in Suriname.
When you say potompoto, do you think it's only Ghana? We have potompoto also in Suriname. Groundnut soup is very important. We eat it with something called afufu, made with plantain. And the okra soup, we eat it with daidomi, you call it banku.
From the Caribbean to the continent, the Deputy High Commissioner of South Africa to Ghana, Thando Dalamba, noted that shared meals across Africa reflect not just culture, but connection.
If you check pap in South Africa and ugali in East Africa, like Tanzania, Kenya, it's the same, and here in Ghana, and okra soup.
But it gets even more fascinating. Ghana's sizzling kebab has a twin in Peru. The Peruvian representative explained that just like in Ghana, grilled meat on open flame is a proud street-side tradition there too.
Some of these dishes include the anticucho, made from marinated and grilled beef heart, whose preparation is similar to the Ghanaian kebab, and the taku-taku, a mix of rice and beans suited together, identical to Ghana's wachi.
And just when you thought it couldn't get more global, sobolo, Ghana's go-to hibiscus drink, made an appearance on the global food map. According to the Mexican ambassador to Ghana, Norma Ann, the same drink is enjoyed widely in Mexico.
African heritage contributed key ingredients such as coffee, hibiscus, known in Mexico as Jamaica.
From Suriname to Mexico, Ghana's flavors have found new homes, proof that food is more than just nourishment. It's memory, migration, and identity all served on a plate. For Joy News, Manso Aklobotu and Vera Gadu's report read to you.
Now, still on food, Ghana's growing food security concerns have prompted New Age Agri-Solutions Limited, in partnership with its sister NGO EVV Foods, to launch the Made in Green Juniors Contest, a dynamic quiz initiative unveiled on October 16 to ignite student passion for agriculture, sustainability, and environmental stewardship. There is more in the following report.
Ghana's food security continues to decline, worsened by farmland degradation from illegal mining. To mark World Food Day 2025, New Age Agri-Solutions Limited, in partnership with its sister NGO, EVV Foods, launched the Made in Green Genius Contest, a quiz competition designed to inspire students to value agriculture and sustainability. Junior manager Martin Tete Nati Jr. says, the initiative seeks to nurture a greener mindset among young people. He noted that EVV Foods, producers of EVV rice cultivated by Ghanaian women farmers, reflect the company's commitment to strengthening local agriculture and food sustainability.
This year, New Age Agri-Solutions Limited and our sister NGO, New Age Academy, and our sister company, EVV Foods, have come together to celebrate this year's World Food Day with our students. So we have actually launched the Maiden, the Green Genius Contest. Here, what we are focused on is we want to provide an opportunity for these young individuals to appreciate agriculture and have greener mentality as they grow in their course of study. Basically, EVV Foods is a wholly grown Ghanaian food products. We have a lot of food, but we have our flagship, being our AVV rice.
The Chief Executive Officer of New Age Agri Solutions Limited, William Cote, reaffirmed the company's dedication to advancing food education and environmental awareness among students through the Green Genius Initiative.
Catching them young, getting them to understand what is involved in food production, what is our concern in terms of getting the nation, getting our population be fed sufficiently, and not just sufficiently, but what we call a balanced nutrition. So at the end of the day, they will understand what is involved in food production, what is involved in agriculture, and more importantly, agribusiness in general, because again, it's a whole value chain, and you can't just be producing food. You have to make sure that the post-harvest losses are reduced, are controlled. You have to make sure that the food is actually good in terms of nutrition, not contaminated. So again, this is about information, this is about educating them as young as they are, so that they can be conscious when they grow up.
The contest featured 4 schools from the Greater Accra region, namely Bethany Methodist Basic, Mamprobi EP Church Basic, New Order Preparatory, and Jowlu Junior High. Angela Lawes report read to you.
Let's do some political-related stories now. And supporters of Dr. Brian Acheampong have outlined their reasons for rallying behind him in the upcoming NPP flag-bearership race. This came to light during its campaign tour of the Akuapem South constituency. In an interaction with journalists, the NPP's Akuapem South constituency coordinator, Seydou Mohamed, explained that the party needs a third force beyond Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and Kennedy Acheampong, a move he believes could help the party avoid repeating mistakes.
We have
decided to rally behind Dr. Brian Acheampong because of our loss in last year's general election. The margin of defeat to John Mahama was very embarrassing, and this was largely due to the internal conflict between Dr. Bawumia and Kennedy Acheampong during the primaries.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia no kwane kolusu na ohwa a conflict between honorable Kennedy Acheampong during one primaries no and create sa issue na ne ehwe se nka omo be solve sa problem no kwari ni ya hwa wontimi solve ye nti ne third force.
We are therefore looking for a third force to unite both camps, and after careful observation, we believe Dr. Brian Acheampong is the right person to do so.
Dr. Brian Acheampong, Honorable Educhum, and engineer Kobina Acheampong. I can't Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Kennedy Acheampong. But no Kwarosha, Dr. Brian Acheampong standing tall.
Now, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Kwame Jokoto, has hinted at the introduction of new tariffs by 2026 following client concerns. He indicated that the authority is engaging all stakeholders, including the World Bank, to ensure tariffs match the cost of operations, smooth administration of the health facilities, and ultimately enhance care delivery. He made this known when addressing the 5th Annual General Conference of the Private Health Facilities Association of Ghana in Ho.
The 5th Annual General Conference of the Private Health Facilities Association of Ghana gave stakeholders a platform to discuss issues affecting healthcare delivery and iron possible solutions. The national president of the association, Dr. Kwame Boaben Frimpong, stressed the need for enhanced collaboration between private facilities and the government towards achieving universal health coverage.
That we are all contributing to the health of our own people, whether private or public. So in the same way that government found the need to support the Christian Health Association of Ghana with human resource, we are asking government to consider hosting human resource or the professional calibers to private health facilities as well.
The Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Kwesi Jokoto, responded to a call to increase tariffs for service providers of the scheme.
Our CU and the Ministry of Health are working closely to engage all stakeholders so that by the end of the year, the new tariffs would be rolled out. This has been one major concern when we engage all facilities. And I'm not surprised that it has also come in as one of the concerns of the private health facilities. We believe that when these new tariffs come in, it will help to facilitate a lot of quality healthcare delivery.
The Chief Executive Officer of Kasona Global Imaging Limited, John Tigbu, said his outfit aims to tackle the challenge of inadequate advanced machinery and human resources in the health sector.
The modern equipments now come with modern devices like AI. Most of the doctors you see and radiologists have never even seen those equipment. They went to school with the equipment that is 10 to 20 years old. So how can they operate the modern equipment? So training is another thing that we did. Notice that we needed to take care of. What I came to do is to provide affordable equipment, make sure we have local engineers to fix it, train the medical professionals on how to use it, and provide them credit facilities to buy it.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News.
On the International Day of Sign Languages, members of the deaf community have renewed calls for sign language to be incorporated into educational, public and industrial institutions to promote inclusion and equal participation. Speaking at a ceremony to mark the day in Salt Pond, former president of the Ghana National Association of the Deaf, Emmanuel Saki, stressed that the realization of human rights cannot be achieved without recognizing sign language rights. He emphasized that deaf persons deserve to be fully included and valued as active members of the society.
The International Day of Sign Language is observed to raise awareness of the importance of sign language in ensuring the full realization of the human rights of people who are deaf. The day also highlights the cultural and linguistic identity of the deaf community while promoting the use of sign languages as vital tools for communication, inclusion, and equal participation in society. At a ceremony organized by the Infantiman Municipal Salt Pond branch of the Ghana National Association of the Deaf to mark the occasion, the municipal head of the Department of Social Welfare in Infantiman, Abna Sewal-Pare, called for the introduction of sign language education to facilitate easier communication with deaf persons.
The question is, what happens to the hearing and speaking impaired when he or she gets to the hospital? There is nobody who understands his or her language. That's the sign language. And so you see the person roaming about, maybe when his time is up, somebody attend to her, ask him or her, what is wrong with you? And even the question is, does the nurse or whoever is attending to him or her understand the complaint? And is it the right medication that has been given to the person? So it's a serious issue. And so we want everybody to come on board, have one voice, and then we advocate that at least in every governmental institution, I think we can start from there, every governmental institution should have a sign language interpreter so that our dear brothers and sisters can also access facilities and services.
Speaking on the theme for the celebration, former president of the Ghana National Association of the Deaf, Emmanuel Saki, emphasized the need for sign language to be integrated into all aspects of national life. He also appealed to government to take concrete steps toward this inclusion.
And our theme is no human right without sign language rights. And thus we want everybody to understand that wherever we go, sign language must lead. We need all departments, government officials, public centers, and everybody, including the health, education, must try as much as possible to learn the sign language. We want the government of Ghana to recognize the sign language, the Ghanaian Sign Language, as a language for deaf people in Ghana. The Ghanaian Sign Language is our language, and we need it to be recognized so that everybody as Ghanaian can have access and learn it as well, at home, in public spaces, in school, everywhere. This will help and make our access very easy. So now they are seeking that the government recognizes the Ghanaian Sign Language, and also all schools, all public schools and private schools possibly should try to inculcate the sign language in their curriculum.
From Salt Pond, Abigail Lissel Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Still in Salt Pond, for years, the Salt Pond Municipal Hospital has struggled with an inconsistent water supply, a challenge that has hindered the delivery of quality health care services. However, relief is in sight as the Infantiman Salt Pond Development Alliance has initiated a sustainable water project to provide a lasting solution to the hospital's long-standing water challenges. The hospital administrator, Paul Amponse Jakwa, described the intervention as timely and a much-needed boost to the facility's operations.
Bid to address the long-standing water struggles of the Salt Pond Municipal Hospital, the Infantiman Salt Pond Development Alliance (MSDA) has initiated a sustainable water project as part of activities marking the first Salt Pond Homecoming Festival. Speaking at the sword cutting ceremony, President of MSDA, Ernest Ejiru, outlined details of the project.
This sustainable water project, initiated and led by the Infantiman Salt Pond Development Alliance (MSDA), is designed to provide a hospital with permanent and self-sustaining water supply system. The project will include the drilling of underground water sources, installation of high-capacity storage tanks, an electrical pumping and boosting system, and a solar power generation unit, all fully integrated into the hospital's existing water distribution network. We are deeply grateful to the members of the MSDA, both home and abroad, who have believed in this vision and contributed to make it happen. All we think about is development. We also realize to make that happen, we need to work together with government officials, head of institutions, our traditional leaders.
The Municipal Chief Executive of Infantiman, Stanley Eric Akwa, commended the Alliance for the initiative and assured of continued collaboration between the MSDA and the Municipal Assembly to drive development at the hospital.
Some are citizens, but they do not see the future ahead. They are so comfortable where they find themselves, what they see around them. But the CEO of Sajafo, Ernest Ejiru, sees tomorrow to be something better. That is how and why we are here. Mr. Ejiru, I should think that you deserve a pat on your back and a tap on your shoulder. Infantiman Municipal Assembly would, at any time, any day, any hour, reason with you and your likes for us to bring the deserving development that befits this health facility.
Administrator of the hospital, Paul Amponse Jakwa, expressed gratitude to the Alliance, describing the intervention as timely and a major relief to the facility's operations.
One key feature of service delivery is water. And from October 2024 up to March 2025, we've been battling with water. Sometimes you have money, you might not even get water to buy. Because of this situation, we've been referring patients to other hospitals. Again, patients were coming to the hospital with their own water, and it's something that was affecting quality service delivery. So when this issue came, this intervention is timely and going to sustain quality healthcare delivery in the hospital.
From Salt Pond, Abigail Lissel Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Let's take a breather. I'll be back for more. Welcome back to Joy Newsroom. Now, National Coordinator of Rural Women Farmers Association of Ghana, Madam Suta Anita has reiterated calls to government development partners and chiefs to support rural women to have fair access to land for farming, credit facilities, and to the market. She noted that women who are the backbone to the country's agriculture have little space for their farming activities, credit facilities, and to access the market, which impede the growth of their business and economic well-being. Speaking at the celebration of the International Day of Rural Women in Laura, Madam Suta Anita called for a change to improve the well-being of women. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Laura.
Over 200 rural women drawn from the Laura municipality were joined by their colleagues from Tachiman in the Bonan region to take part in the joint celebration of the International Rural Women's Day and World Food Day program. The event is being organized by Rural Women's Farmers Association of Ghana, RUFAC, in partnership with Abono Organic Farming Project, AGOFAP. It was held on the theme Empowering Rural Women for Restorative Justice, Promoting Inclusion and Sustainable Agri-Food Systems in Africa. They walked through some principal streets holding aloft placards, some of which read, "We need farmlands, traditional seeds are nutritious, my food is African, and let's consume what we produce." They sang and danced to music from brass band before they converged at the Na-Abe-Fakabo Memorial Park to be addressed by their various leaders. National Coordinator of RUFAC, Madam Suta Anita, asserted that justice is not only about the courts, but entails fairness in opportunity, access, and recognition.
At RUFAC, empowering is something we live every day. Over the years we have established over 40 acres demonstration farms that support all season farm, build training centers and hostels with most of the work done by women themselves, and delivered livelihood and capacity building programs across communities, enabling hundreds of women to grow, learn, and lead.
Madam Suta Anita noted that the aforementioned achievements are a proof that when women are empowered, families become stronger and entire communities thrive.
As we celebrate, let us renew our call to governments, development partners, and the private sector continue to support rural women through fair access to land, credit, markets, and trainings. As we dance, share, and celebrate today, let us remember every seed a woman plants is a seed of justice. Every field she cultivates is a field of hope. And every woman empowered brings us closer to a fair and more sustainable Ghana.
Coordinator of ABOFAP, Esther Boachi Yedom, on their part, underscored the important role played by women in feeding the nation.
Women farmers are the backbone of the country. We produce food for the nation. The whole Ghana, about 70% of farmers are women. And with our little work that we are doing, is what we use to feed the country. So women are important in agric. That is why we are celebrating this International Rural Women's Day, just to empower the women in all the activities that they are doing, so that they will work and work hard.
Dora Municipal Management Information Systems Officer Richard Advocacy urged the women to take advantage of government's Feed the Ghana project to expand their business and better their lives. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Laura.
Now, the race for academic glory is officially underway in Cape Coast, as 174 schools, the largest in the National Science and Maths Quiz history, converge to battle for the 2025 trophy, with 27 seeded schools already waiting in the wings and every contender hungry to dethrone reigning champions in Fansipim School. The stage is charged with anticipation, ambition, and the promise of fireworks. My colleague Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah has more from Cape Coast.
They are arriving in their numbers, first-timers, full of nerves and hope, and returning schools determined to rewrite their national science and maths quiz history. With 174 schools in contention, this is the biggest edition yet. This year's edition is already commanding attention, and not only for its record participation, but for the storyline. Can anyone unseat the reigning champions in Fantapim School?
Herbs! Last year, you gave me a lot of promises, telling me a lot. You're back here, square one.
Yeah, so God being so good, last year I came here and I said, Inshallah, we will qualify. And mashallah, we qualified. So this year, what I'm telling NSMQ is that the trophy is a foregone conclusion. In fact, they shouldn't organize it. And I'm telling you that, you see, Hohoi EP Senior High School will be the first voter school to win the national championship. Mark it on the wall. The same way, Hohoi United FC Football Club, they will also be the first voter team to win the Ghana Premier League. So, Hohoi, we are doing the double. Hohoi United is winning the Ghana Premier League, and Hohoi EPSHS is also winning the National Science and Maths Quiz.
They should watch out for us. We don't fear them at all. We are here for the best, and we will give out our best, and we know we will win.
Wow. So, I mean, I was even about to ask you if you see any of the schools as a threat, but it looks like none of them.
Nah, they are no size.
The demon is here.
They are not match to us. They are not our match. They are not our match. Yeah.
So it means that this year you're looking to unseat the reigning champions. That's Fantapim.
Oh, yeah.
By the grace of the Almighty God, we are going to perform exceptionally well. We are going to exceed expectations, and schools should expect to see us in the semi-finals or even possibly the finals, because our girls have worked very hard, and with God on our side, we know we can perform exceptionally well.
Okay. Do you think Yasantua is going to be the first girls' school to win the National Science and Maths Quiz?
Our girls are very capable of doing that.
Championship, and now we are here for the national championship as well. We are hoping in God that everything will be fine this time.
Both of you, did you envisage to be here today?
Yes, please, because by the grace of God, we've trained hard, and then we know that we are going to do well in this year.
I mean, is it a twin telepathy for both of you to be right here representing your school?
Yes, please.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. But let me also speak to the other ladies from your school. Let me speak to you too. Oh, you're also a contestant. Now, what should everyone expect from your school? But before that, what schools are you meeting in your category?
We are meeting Doma SHS and St. Mary's Seminary.
Sure. What is your message to them?
They should expect the best from us, and they should prepare, because we are also prepared very well.
Oh, not to them, but to any other school. So actually, we first showed up in 2022, and I was part of the team. Yeah. And we showed up in 2023 and 2024, and this year we gave good results during the qualifiers. But this time we are here to change the narrative. We are here to cross over. Yeah, I call it crossover. That's moving from the 180. We are here to tell the seeded schools to hide their seats.
From luggage offloading to last-minute revisions in hostels, the atmosphere in Cape Coast is charging with belief, competition, and quiet pressure. The stage is set. 174 schools, one trophy, one reigning champion in the crosshairs. Over the coming days, only the sharpest minds will survive this academic battlefield. For Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Asuma Yaboa.
Now, joining us via Zoom is Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah from in Cape Coast. Jackie, what more can you report?
Well, James, it's quite exciting here as we have most of the schools coming in here, as you heard in the report, 147 schools. I mean, in total is 174, but for the preliminary stage is 147. So we're expecting the seeded schools to make their way here, especially to the superannuation hall, as I'm standing right in front here on Friday for the 1A stage would kickstart on Sunday, but then the arrival for the seeded schools, that is the 27 seeded schools, would be on Friday. So they join, I mean, in total, so someone might be confused as in there are 174, but preliminary starts with 147. Then the 27 will join later on for the competition to continue. Apart from that, what is currently ongoing is they'll be having an orientation very soon. And also, some of them have already started their learning preparations. We see a couple of cars still trooping in right now. It's lunch period now. After that, there'll be an orientation for the students here at the superannuation hall.
All right. Thank you, Jack. Now, the 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with GWEL PLC and supported by Momo, Pepsodent, Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, Jupe, and Truster AI. Broadcast sponsors on Joy News as supported by NASCO, Vitamilk, Ayuda Hub, Virtual Security Africa, Chopbox Technology, Ambition Check at German Ozone Medical Center, ACE Medical Insurance, Achimota Mall, Slam Technology, Family Health Medical School, Chartered Institute of Management Accountant, DBS Industries Limited, Syntex Tanks, and Academic City University. And that's all for the Joy News Room with me, James Shen. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. Good afternoon.